considerable variability between females in their ability not just to produce children but to raise them. The variance may not be as great as between males, but that is irrelevant because females are not in competition with males, they are in competition with other females. If you die leaving 6 grown children behind and I leave 1, you leave 6 times as many of your genes in the next generation as I do. Women were choosy investors all right, but to opt out of the competition altogether was no more an adaptive option for a female than it was for a male. The difference was that females were forced to carry out the competition in a much less overt way, for reasons I will discuss later. So it was the dramatic life or death quality of male competition that grabbed researchers' attention. Risk-taking and bravado were the routes to the winner's podium where males strove to secure the glittering prize of reproductive success. But, paradoxically, the preoccupation with male competition obscures a critical fact: males compete so ferociously because their lives are less important than females in the reproductive process. Males may seem to be the stars of the show, but we should bear in mind that they are essentially freeloading on females' efforts. Consider this: if we knew our planet was about to be struck by a meteor and only 100 people could be saved in an underground bunker, what proportion of men and women would you put down there? My suggestion would be about 10 men and 90 women. 10 should be able to do an adequate job of impregnating all the women, and the fewer the men, the fewer the calories they would consume and the lower the competition between them would be. But imagine if we had made the opposite choice, 90 men and 10 women. What kind of hope would we have for the future of the human race? The fact is that the majority of men are, biologically speaking, dispensable, but when the number 76 mothers matter most, women and parental investment of women drops, our future looks bleak. In the real world, the sex ratio remains roughly equal, and as long ago as 1930, Fisher explained why. When there are too few males, the lower intensity of same-sex competition means that any boy that gets born does very well indeed, reproductively speaking. Genes that bias towards son production rather than daughter production will start to spread. But as the sex ratio reaches equality, the reproductive advantages of producing sons begin to diminish. The same logic holds when there are too few females. Eventually the sex ratio stabilizes at a near equal number of sons and daughters. But in some species extraordinary sex ratios can occur, and when they do, it comes as no surprise that they are female-heavy. In some insects, there are 20 females born for every 1 male, Hamilton, 1964. In Chapter 3 I will try to convince you that men's greater willingness to take life-threatening risks is a testament not just to the reproductive gulf between male winners and losers but to men's smaller contribution to parental investment. Men hold their lives less tightly in their hands because they have been more marginal than women in ensuring the successful survival of their offspring. Chapter 3. High stakes and low risks, women and aggression. The proposition that men are more aggressive than women is hardly a contentious one. A glance at criminal statistics from any nation in the World Conference rooms that men are more likely to engage in criminal violence. 90% of criminal violence on our planet is committed by men, Kruchnet, 1994. Simon and Baxter, 1989. But this is the visible and extreme end of aggression. Do these sex differences trickle down to more mundane aggressive episodes? Many hundreds of psychological studies have examined sex differences in aggression using a range of techniques including laboratory experiments, observation, personality assessment, and self and peer-reported behavior. The results have been summarized using a technique called meta-analysis that determines just how big the sex differences are when they are weighted and averaged across many studies. The results fight a clear pattern. The more dangerous and risky the form of aggression studied, the larger the sex difference. Archer. 2009, Campbell, 2006. For physical acts such as hitting, punching, and kicking, the effect size is large. Up to 82% of men are more aggressive than the average woman. For verbal acts such as abuse and threats, the effect size is somewhat more moderate. 70% of men are more verbally aggressive than the average woman. Archer, 2004, Eagerly and Stephen, 1986, Knight, Fabes, and Higgins, 1996, Knight, Guthrie, Page and Fabes, 2002. Acts of indirect aggression include spreading nasty rumors, excluding people,